silver. So first off, read this disclaimer carefully and do your good deed of the day by liking and subscribing. We are going to look at precious metals. Silver is very, very interesting at this point. 1.42% here from the 52-week low. And we have seen a minus 26-ish% pullback, which is, pretty significant. This is the big picture for silver. And we go way, way, way back. What is very interesting now is this blue 100-week moving average. It's been a level that's been relevant, as you can see, multiple times here in the past as support, but also, unfortunately, it's also been a pretty strong resistance level as well. We are currently testing it as support after a very significant pullback. So technically speaking, I would give the benefit of the doubt to the bulls. So that's the expectation, is that the bulls will show up. At least, if they do not show up at this super key moving average, then that would obviously be really, really, really bad. Beyond that support, you could make a strong case. Let's change, the color, because I do prefer blue to be the color that I use for, bullish things. So this looks also like some horizontal support. And that, reinforce the bullish thesis. You could even say that, there's some horizontals way back here. And that is, from 2014. When we go here to the daily data points, I think the horizontal support here is pretty clear. This is technically interesting from a bullish perspective. When we look here at, the indicators, weekly RSI has been lower during previous plunges, though we are to a low level that multiple times in the past has attracted buyers. The distance from the 20-week moving average here, in this purple color, it has been lower in the past, but this is also a level that has attracted buyers before. Same here with the green PPO reflecting the 50-week moving average. When we go here to the daily data points, looking here at the daily RSI, if we look way back, yes, there have been times where RSI has been lower than it is now, but you can see that, when we go way back here, to 2011, the vast majority of times where we have this RSI, it triggers some rebound. So that is interesting. When we look at the distance here from the red 200, blue 100, the 50-day moving average, and the 20-day moving average, yes, there have been times where we have been further away, even more bearish. But in a very large number of times, these low readings form lows. And notwithstanding here the breakdown we have seen in the price, the accumulation distribution indicator is not looking that bad. So this is interesting from a more contrarian perspective. A more leveraged way to get into silver, that would be through the silver miners. So here we have the weekly data points. We also have this one, that is junior silver miners, if that's even more aggressive. And if you are super aggressive, you do have the so I was not able to get it here on the charts, but you do have this leveraged silver miners ETF, the SEAL-X from ETF MG. That gives you 2 times, bullish exposure. Looking at the seasonality here for silver. So over the last 5 years, there's been a sharp strengthening from September to October. But let's look here at the last 10 years. Because the more data we look at, the bigger the picture gets. So September tends to be weak, but that can also mean that, September will offer an interesting buying opportunity. October tends to be stronger, then November is the weakest month. looking at the last 20 years, then September is mediocre, but we have certainly seen weakness of September so far. October is one of the stronger months. On average, November tends to produce a gain. December also decent, and January is the strongest month. So the seasonality is a bit messy, though the context is that we are at a very low level. Here in Finviz, we do have this trend channel. We did break through the trend channel here on Friday, though I'm not a big fan of diagonal trend lines, because they can be drawn in so many different ways, which makes them less reliable. And so if I were to sum up my take here for silver, we do have a very interesting support level that's worked long term. This 100-week moving average, it simply has a history of working out. So I think that would just be the primary thesis, is that we will see support there. When you look at the RSI levels we looked at, the PPOs, throughout the history of this ETF, there's a very strong tendency for the bulls to show up at these levels. The seasonality is a bit messy. Then again, we have seen a lot of weakness in September so far. So far, we have seen a -7% sell-off in September, and that is way more than the average loss here for September. So we have seen extreme pessimism. So yeah, I think that my contrarian take would be that we expect support to come in here, though we do not want to see that break.